What a lovely race we had at the Circuit of the Americas. A lot of action, plus a lot of fun, where we saw Charles Leclerc take the win. But we move away from Austin, Texas, and go to a place that is adored by Sergio Perez fans. Welcome to round number 20 of the FIA Formula One World Championship, and welcome to Mexico City for the Mexican Grand Prix. It is spooky season at JBMotorsports, and we've still got lots of action to come this season. We stay in Mexico this round on the 25th to the 27th of October. At the beginning of November, we go to Sao Paulo for the Brazilian Grand Prix, and it always provides lots of battles there. On the 21st to the 24th of November, we head to Las Vegas, the second edition of the race, and let's hope there's no drain cover issues. We head to Qatar on the 1st of December, and then we end the final round at Abu Dhabi for the championship finale. Max Verstappen leads the championship on 354 points, with Lando Norris in second on 297. The gap closing more than ever. Charles Leclerc in third on 275 points after his race win. Oscar Piastri in fourth on 247. Carlos Sainz in fifth. Lewis Hamilton sixth. George Russell seventh. Sergio Perez in eighth. Fernando Alonso ninth. Nico Hulkenberg in 10th. And Lance Stroll in 11th on 24 points in the Aston Martin. Yuki Tsunoda is 12th in the RB on 22 points, with Alexander Albon in 13th on 12 points. Daniel Ricciardo not racing this season, he's in 14th, with Kevin Magnussen in 15th. Pierre Gasly in 16th, with Ollie Behrman in 17th. Another impressive race for Franco Colapinto, he's in 18th, with Esteban Ocon in 19th. Liam Lawson got his first points of the season in 20th, with Joe Guan Yu and Valtteri Bottas yet to score in the Saubers. What can they do in Mexico City this weekend? Let's have a look at the Constructors' Championship of Dakota. McLaren are leading on 544 points, with Red Bull in second on 504. Ferrari looking to close up to Red Bull and be second in the Constructors' Championship very soon. They're on third on 496 points. Mercedes in fourth on 344, with Aston Martin in fifth on 86. Haas in 6th on 38, with Vita Cash-Up RB on 36. Williams in 8th on 17, and 9th is Alpine on 13, with Sauber the only team yet to score this season.
Let's take a look around the Autodrome. Hermanos Rodriguez, 2.674 miles or 4.303 kilometers. 71 laps ahead of us as well. A fantastic lap time. Pole time last year, a 1:15.875. Exiting the Forosol Stadium then and booting it hard at the last corner, the Mansell Peraltada. Open up the DRS and you're straight down towards turn number 1 on the start of the lap. 871 metres from pole position towards the first braking zone. The engine is singing as you're 2,000 metres above sea level. Down then already from 8th gear down to just 3rd gear. First braking zone, a runabout under the 100 miles an hour board. Turns 2 and 3 through the Mercedes Solana corner. Speed you up as well into the second DRS zone where you reach 8th gear towards the heavy braking zone for turn 4. A good opportunity for overtaking here as you slam on the brakes down to 3rd gear as well. Into the Record Rabac corner as well. The hairpin as well at turn 6, it's sort of double barreled as well. Not really an opportunity for an overtake, but a great one to run you through the S-curves as well. Turn 7, 8 and 9, 5th gear, rising up to 6th gear as well throughout the exit as well. Keeping the speed through here is tricky. The car wants to dance around on you as well and to spit you out, but when you get it right, and especially the 2022 cars, it's absolutely fantastic. Hurtling down towards Fernandez then, turn number 12, 8th gear down to 4th gear, and then you're into the Forosol Stadium. Over 80,000 people in this area, give them all away as you hurtle through the gap between the middle where the players used to go through, and then you're back out through the Peraltada across the line after 6th gear, rising up to 7th as you take the control line, and that is a lap around Mexico City.
After a disrupting open day yesterday and a fantastic pre-practice session earlier on, we're about to get set for qualifying for the Mexico City Grand Prix. Who will come out on top? Well, we have to wait and see. We're all set to go then very, very soon. In about 10 minutes' time, we got myself and Josh doing the pre-show. Ed's going to join us in a few minutes. And then we got Omi down in the pit lane. So free practice earlier, we saw Oscar Piastri top the session with his teammate Lando Norris in second and Carlos Sainz in third. McLaren's are back, it seems.
Really does, doesn't it? And 1-2 for them, as we're seeing the results on our screen now as well from the session. Fantastic result from them. Ferrari seemed a little bit cautious this morning, didn't they? They didn't want to push the car, especially from Leclerc's point of view. I think Max as well needed to get as much data as possible, Jess. But I don't know, it just feels like we're in for a session that is completely unknown, because we've got, I think, 4 teams completely involved in it. And McLaren's looked strong today, Ferrari looked strong yesterday, and Russell even top practice 1. We're all over the place at the moment.
Yeah, 3 different teams topped a pre-practice session, and there's a few cars that had a bit of damage. Luckily, there was quite a few drivers that returned to the track in their repaired cars. George Russell, after breaking the curfew to get the car in time, luckily it was just a new chassis that was needed, but he avoided power unit and gearbox damage. Alex Albon's Williams was damaged in FP1 following a run-in with Ollie Behrman, meaning another power unit was fitted for him. But Alex Albon did very decent in free practice 3 earlier, as well as Franco Colapinto. So this could be another good circuit for the Williams pairing, Josh.
I'm expecting one of those two to get through into qualifying number 3 as well, and it wouldn't surprise me if it would be Franco Colapinto, judging by his race results over the past couple of weeks. Magnussen's also looking strong in the Haas. He could be one that sort of battles with them, but I think Williams going very strong here as well. Bought a couple of upgrades that are internal, so we don't know exactly what they are. Little tweak to gearboxes that they have, of course, they built themselves. So it's going to be quite fun, actually, to see what they've got. And, of course, we were talking about Colapinto in the practice sessions. 5 races left. He can do whatever he likes.
He has no pressure at all in the last few sections. And to be honest, personally, he's got a point to prove for 2026, because 2025, I doubt that he's going to be in the running for a seat unless he's been in talks with RB. Well, it's hard to tell with James Vowell's interview yesterday and obviously Franco Colapinto's interview today, but we all hope that Colapinto can get a drive, because it shows that you don't have to necessarily be good in F2 to have a shot in F1. Colapinto was mediocre in F2, but really strong in the F1 cars. So what does he need to do in the final 5 races to put himself as a contender for 2026?
He's got to keep delivering, got to keep out qualifying Albon, got to keep out qualifying the Hasses and outperforming them in the race as well. Prove exactly what he's been doing on track of having wheel-to-wheel combat and wheel-to-wheel drives. And also, he was mediocre in Formula 2, but that's only because we've come into a new generation of F2 cars. Even Karun Janok's been saying that it hasn't really been that great here this weekend. But I think we're going to see a lot of stars from him, and I hope he's on the grid next year, but he says there's no room for me, the positions are full.
Yeah, I think he's not too bothered, which means you can have a little bit of fun as well. But let's have a look at the times, of course, for this weekend. Of course, we've got qualifying in just a few minutes, and then we got the race build-up at 7 p.m. UK time, and then the race at 8 p.m. Don't forget, for us UK people, the clocks go back, so instead of us starting at 9, it will start at 8. So bear that in mind for those of you that are in different countries. So we're about to get underway. Ed will join us in the commentary box very, very soon with Joshua Birch on lead comms, but it is time to see who will get pole for the Mexican Grand Prix here at Mexico. Let's see what they can do.
Well, here we go then for qualifying at Mexico City as well. It's round 20 of 24 in 2024 as well. Moving down then from where we were 7 days ago at the circuit in the Americas, Mexico City and the Autodrome of Hermanos Rodriguez has hosted Formula One on and off since the 1960s. It's an absolutely brilliant atmosphere. The fans surround the Forosol Stadium. The circuit itself then as well, it's a total of 4.304 kilometres, full throttle for 47% of the lap. A 1 minute 14 is the fastest lap round here, helped by 3 DRS zones. We're 2,229 metres above sea level. Top speed at 364 mile an hour as well. Pirelli bringing the hardest of the C3, the mediums of the C4, and the soft of the C5s. And we won't need green, intermediate or blue wet weather tyres either, but they're the tyre compounds that we have to contend with across qualifying. Atmosphere building then, tension rising. Alongside me in the commentary box will be Megan Burge, Ed Hunter coming in as well. And right now we've got Jess Ball up here as well. She'll be moving down to the pit lane shortly alongside Omi. But Jess, while we've got you here as well, it's an interesting conundrum we've got here as well. We don't know exactly which drivers are going to qualify in and out of the session. So who's going to be your surprise pick, like we saw in Austin, to be eliminated early off the doors?
It's going to be hard because free practice 1 and 2, it was very not normal because we had the rookies running FP1 and it was reduced running due to the red flags. FP2 was a longer session, but it wasn't really to practice for the race. It was Pirelli's 2025 test. So FP3 was the only kind of running that they got, but it was different conditions to what we're going to get in the race and in qualifying. So definite unknowns. I think, though, I'm a bit worried about Mercedes. I think one of the Mercedes is going to have a shocker again in Mexico due to the amount of troubles they've had over the last few weekends. That's my prediction.
Jackson Lambrose is on his way into the commentary box, but Discord, ever since it reset, we've noticed that unless you're a manager, all your roles have been disappeared. So Jackson's tried to get into the commentary box, and he couldn't get into the commentary box. So hopefully he'll be here shortly as well. We'll make sure that he can log in. I think Jess has already pinged him to make sure that he can. Russell top practice 1 then, Sainz top practice 2, Piastri top practice 3. Race now is 71 laps. Let's check in then with Omi if he's available down in the pit lane. I'll give him a few seconds to get his microphone on as well. Omi, what have you been making of the weekend so far? You're up in the box in practice 1, and what are your thoughts going into qualifying?
Well, very interesting few sessions, of course, so far. We'll still be going to qualifying with a bit of an unknown. McLaren looked quick in FP3. Ferrari look in the mix as well. Red Bull seem to be struggling. It's all going to be really, really exciting. But whatever we see here in qualifying, we could see completely different in the race. And we could, of course, see our pole sitter being overtaken once again. Starting on pole isn't necessarily the best here around this circuit.
Indeed, it's not, Jess, as we know. As from days gone by, it's 871 metres down to turn 1, and quite often those starting in third get the best toe.
Yeah, I think we see that every year, don't we? The ones who's starting in third. So there might be people purposely not trying to get a good lap because of that, but pole means anything around here. You would get better starting in pole than near the back, of course, but you don't want to go too slow around here because that's when, of course, where flags happen, especially in the S's. The S's is going to be the huge, tricky part today, and the stadium section. That's why we saw people lose it in all the practice sessions. So I won't be surprised that the laps are sorted out early on because we might get some red flag. But we got 20 seconds to go until the start of qualifying. Anything can happen, and let's see who's going to be the shockers and surprises in qualifying.
Thanks, Jess. We'll head you down to pit lane shortly as well as we wait for everyone to get in. Technical issues stopping everybody as well. Don't know where Megan is, though, to come in at the green light. And qualifying.
That's why I'm stepping in.
Qualifying is underway then here in Mexico City. The green light is on and we are underway. 18 minutes and all 20 cars will venture out onto the circuit. And let's see who's going to be the 5 eliminated. Not a big rush to head out there onto the circuit. It's a high-altitude run, so the tow here with 3 DRS zones are the most important. Local hero Sergio Perez watching on in his garage. Esteban Ocon on a brand new set of the C5 soft compound tyres gets his tyre blankets released. He'll venture out onto the track. Bottas is coming as well with him. So Zhou Guan Yu going too. And more drivers getting up with their speedos will open open those up. Megan Burge walks into the commentary box.
Sorry I'm late. I was watching Agatha all along and I just didn't realise what time. I was
Yeah.
watching Agatha all along and I just didn't see the time.
Yeah, 15 minutes late. Thank you.
15 minutes late?
Yes, 15.
Why didn't you text
You
me
meant to be
during
here
that
for the
time?
pre-
I did.
You're meant to be here for the pre-show.
I said, where the hell are you? At about 21:46.
No, you didn't.
Well, it must have not gone through then until then. Oh, okay.
You sent it at 21:59.
It must have not gone through by until then. But I did. Even then, you should have known to come to the commentary box. Anyway, what are your predictions then for who's going to be the surprise?
I didn't see the time.
I know. Get with it. Who's going to be the surprise elimination? Who do you think is going to be knocked out in Q1?
Magnussen.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Nice
It's just the first person I
shocker.
saw.
All right, fair dues. Let's check it then as they go through. This is on
Real
board with
guess?
Perez. Yes.
Ocon.
That's not really a surprise.
Fine. Stroll.
Say a name,
Okay.
that would be a shocker.
I know.
I'll tell you what I said, Megan.
Alonso.
Mercedes.
All right, Jessica Mercedes, you've gone Alonso. Adam said Lewis Hamilton. And Max Verstappen for pole position as well in Mexico. The fans enjoying Perez walking out there onto the circuit then as well. Norris coming out too. As there is Sergio Perez's children and Perez's father, his grandson. Not the best time to cut to the angle of a grandfather playing around with his
I love
grandson.
Perez's father.
Yeah. Antonio.
He's
isn't he?
lovely.
As well to come through. Listen to the crowd as well. Absolutely loving Checo out here. I have no idea where Jackson is. I know Ed said he was going to be late.
It's a day to be late.
Yeah, Jackson had problems getting access to the booth, but yeah.
I was just too busy watching TV. I generally did not see the time.
I'm not
thought it
even
was
meant to
during.
be here. I'm meant to be in the back rooms.
Might have to ask Omi to come up to the box then to give Jess a break.
Yes, that seems to be a theme with you
No,
this
no,
Look at the
weekend.
hat! Look at the hat! Fantastic there.
Oh,
the
that's
first
cool. No, it's fine. Nobody can stay in pits. It's fine. I've got this.
It was a proper sombrero with a Sergio Perez car on top. Anyway, first lap times begin then. Valtteri Bottas does a 1:18.507 as Perez launches down towards turn one. Maximum speed as well, as you can see, at over 360 kilometres before he hits the brakes hard, flies through the SS section, then brings up once again with the DRS down to turns 4 and 5, the record Rebec corners as well. And this is the tightest bit, Megan, where we often see accidents because it sort of crumbles up on itself. It's not a track where you can overtake that easily.
No, it's more a track where you're going to catch the curb and then go spinny.
Yeah, especially through this section here, the S's that used to go left, right, now go right, left. Yeah, got redesigned by the man who either makes circuits or breaks circuits. Ideally, I think for Herman Tilke, he makes great circuits, breaks old circuits. That's my take on him. As Perez comes into the Forosol section now, flies it up and... yeah, let's listen to the crowd. I swear they've added a roof this year to the Forosol Stadium. Looks new, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
I noticed that.
Yeah, I don't remember that from before. In fact, looking at our guide here, if I just take off the track map quickly, it can tell us. Yeah, look, last year the Forosol didn't have a stadium. No, it didn't have. It had
No, it did. No, it didn't.
Yeah, it had a roof on one side. Ed's here.
Clearly, if he had
No,
rained.
No,
Jackson's here.
it's not, Ed. I may as well make my way to the pits and so Jackson can get in the box.
Thanks very much, Jess. Jackson's here. I'll swap over. Hi, Jackson. Nice to have you back, my friend. How you doing?
It's been too long, Josh. I'm happy to be back. Obviously, wanted to be with you guys for COTA. Certain things came up. I'm super stoked, though. I mean, this is always... There's so many races that you wish could stay as a part of Formula One forever, just off of vibes alone. Mexico City, easily top 3.
Oh, easily top 3. It's got such a wonderful atmosphere as well. And you can definitely hear the crowd being energetic as we see Piastri through the middle sector, looking faster as well. I'm trying to see what that first delta time was, but it's not telling me on our timing screen here. Norris to the 1:17.203. Piastri's a 27.7, then a 30.5 coming into it as well. Go on then, Jackson, while we got a second, what was your take on Kota? Obviously, you were supposed to be with us, but you had emergencies to contend with. So what did you make of that Grand Prix weekend?
I'm not sure if it was Alex Albon who said it felt more from a driver's perspective like a, what was it, Jonas Brothers concert than a actual Grand Prix with just the vibe of the fans there. But I mean, fantastic show. And what I was so sold was going to be a Max Verstappen vengeance tour, and you could argue it was with how he challenged the track limits there as we're watching Piastri lock up heading towards the baseball diamond.
Yeah, just
I mean,
wrong, yeah.
obviously a little bit of controversy with the track limits, but that's nothing new. We remember Max Verstappen trying to make that very move on Kimi Räikkönen on, when was it, 2017?
Yeah.
So I know that's still in the progress of being looked at right now. But just a great show. I think it's interesting with how much we've had more American tracks, joining the F1 calendar, and it's called into question, will Circuit of the Americas actually, stay in rotation? And I think it just continues to provide. So really great showing there, I think, Josh.
I agree with you. My money is definitely I want it to stay because it was one of the races of the entire season, and it just gave us so much entertainment and so much drama to contend with across the weekend as well. Again, changes coming through out here on the monitors as we see Verstappen with a 1:16.998 take it at the top. So yeah, just sort of closing in on his sort of weekend from hell, Jackson, with an engine issue yesterday. Do you reckon he can bounce back? Can he win a Grand Prix this weekend? He hasn't won a Grand Prix in a very long time.
Again, I feel like every time when we talk about this, Josh, I have to rewind to the start of the season. Vibe of we are all so cooked. Verstappen's going to sweep the whole season. And just the comeback that not only McLaren, Aston Martin has kind of come back into podium contention as we're seeing right now with Fernando Alonso. You look at everybody in the top 5 constructors-wise, they've brought the fight and are genuinely looking podium possible. It's such a turnaround from what we expected here in Bahrain. And we're almost expecting, I mean, Norris is 100% in the driver's seat when it comes to championship, but it's such a shock to see Verstappen nowhere close to where he was in Bahrain.
It's absolutely fun, isn't it? I'm loving every single second of this one as they come into it now. I believe Ed Hunter's just, yes, he has. He's joined the box as well, so we'll get that camera angle set up shortly as well. With Alonso on the sector time, Megan, but Verstappen and Norris 1-2 at the moment. Stroll moves up to 4th. Well, that's a surprise to me. I didn't expect Lando to be.
What is this?
Different world, isn't it, at the moment?
I'm just going to look at the temperature in hell,
see what the other
Norway.
Aston puts down here.
Oh, OBS is having a paddy on me as well. It stopped the camera and had a freeze on me. So, yeah, I don't know how. Yeah, it's. Oh, there you go. Cameras are back. Let's put it to button 9 and make sure it's all okay.
Not frozen over in hell, but it will be rainy for next week. Oh, there's chance of snow next week for people in hell, Norway.
Fernando's gone 3rd, by the way. And Jess, you can turn your camera off now, by the way.
Get the screenshots. Yeah, I'll turn my camera off. Thank you.
No worries, Jess. Magnussen goes P7 as we welcome Ed Hunter. Hello, Ed. How you doing?
All right, thanks. Sorry about that. I realised I put my phone on. I have a very precarious stand for it because I didn't bring my webcam with me. And I put it up and I realised I had the phone the wrong way. So you were just seeing the front of my Nintendo DS, which is currently propping it up right now against the monitor. But yeah, anyway, needs must in this sort of situation. But yeah, qualifying well underway. 8 minutes to go. And Tsunoda goes 3rd fastest with really strong final sector.
Paris.
Brake too low.
Can't brake for low speed is the caption I've read there.
I wasn't looking and I couldn't hear it as well because I'm just titivating monitors at the moment as well, which is so annoying to come through because OBS is fighting me at the moment for control because there's so many people on the Wi-Fi network. If we press button 2, there we go. Ed's on the screen, so is Jackson. Excellent. So we're all
Do you want
back.
me to go onto my data?
Nah, it's iPad. So, 7 minutes to go. Verstappen from Hulkenberg up to second place now as well on a 1:17.186. Ed, we've heard from Jackson about his views on America. As Gasly goes second, you in the box with us. Has your thoughts changed a week on?
I think I was a little bit I was mostly neutral, and I think I was mainly sort of what Verstappen did was cheeky, but it was within the rules, and there's nothing really for McLaren to protest. And I think I mostly stand by that. I think it's easy to feel Lando was a bit hard done by, but I also stand by that he kind of messed up the start at Circuit of the Americas by not defending the inside hard enough, leaving the small window for Max to take advantage of, and then it all just it kind of spiraled out of control and right into the hands of Ferrari thereafter. And I think Norris's comment, what was it during the week, where he said Verstappen just has to beat me. He's not trying to win races anymore. And it's like, well, yeah, he's got such a big lead that he can sort of afford to do that, can't he? There's no real chance that Leclerc's going to make up a 90, 100-point gap or whatever it is at the moment. But there is a small chance that Norris might be able to overcome that 57-point gap or whatever it is as Russell goes purple in the middle sector. So the Mercedes looking good in the high-speed stuff, which you wouldn't have guessed after FP2 where he crashed out there.
Absolutely.
And Ed, going really quickly back to Coda, I feel like people kind of forget that you can drive aggressive and you can challenge limits without it necessarily being illegal. It can be not cool for you to do, but you can push guys, to the outside of the track if you want. It's not necessarily illegal. And I know Josh is instantly about to say, actually, but we'll see.
I think I'm with you on that one, Jason.
Look, one thing it's different is there's a rule if you're overtaking on the outside or if you're overtaking on the inside. So there's two different sets of the rules. So McLaren's point of view, as we look at Oscar Piastri, who's now down 19th, by the way, got a lot of drivers in the drop zone with 5 to go, but they haven't had clean lap times. From McLaren's point of view, Lando was overtaking around the outside into turn 12. He was a full car length ahead in the braking zone, which means to them, because he was ahead, he was not the overtaker. It became Max Verstappen who was overtaking on the inside. Now, the rule if you overtake on the outside is you're not allowed to go off the track and gain an advantage. But the rule, if you're defending on the inside, is that you can run the driver off the track if they're overtaken on the outside because you've stayed on the circuit. McLaren argued that it was Max who became the driver who was overtaking because in the braking zone, Norris was ahead. But the stewards have gone, no, we're going to judge it on the apex, see it all as one, so it's still Lando is the overtake on the outside, but Max was then defending and forced him off the track.
Fastest.
Negative.
Yeah, well.
Yeah,
Should we be concerned at Mercedes right now?
We should be concerned about McLaren because Piastri just had a lap time deleted for track limits, so he got through safely to 13th. He's now down to 19th. Perez on his home circuit's 20th. So yeah, basically it's become because Max wasn't the overtaker, he didn't force Lando off the track. He was defending his position. So it's two sides of a coin, and I don't know. The stewards need to clean that up a bit.
I think the difficulty is you can't just sort of apply a consistent rule differently in different circumstances, because then people will say, well, it's inconsistent with previous decisions. As we look at the this is sort of just into turn 12, funnily enough, from a different circuit course where he just gets caught on the curb at a centre line.
For track limits, turn 12.
Yeah, he won't be.
Yeah, he would have felt that too.
Too much speed on the entry.
One, not a shocker. Two, it's not like you're getting too much of a delta from even doing that, because all you're doing is going through your floor and upsetting the car.
He's just
track limits are there for a reason, though, and that seems to be what we've spent the last few minutes discussing, isn't it?
Get me gravel right now. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that was the other takeaway. I think there was a great clip of Andy Davidson on the Sky F1 coverage basically saying this issue is completely avoided if you have either a wall or gravel on the exit of turn 12 at the Circuit of the Americas, because then they wouldn't be able to go that wide, and basically Verstappen would be crashing into Norris if he'd done that, essentially.
I do think we as a motorsports society have finally realized that, like, Tilke dome designs can actually be a lot better if they potentially don't have a sea of painted concrete as the runoffs. Because
Gotta
then you
pit
can
our
just think,
stars and stripes somewhere, though, Jackson.
I know, and as an American, it needs to be somewhere, and that can be literally the entire rest of the track. We can find a way to paint the gravel red, white, and blue. I guarantee you, we will find a way.
Certainly would be interesting when they go onto the gravel.
Yeah.
Imagine what it would do to the tyres.
Get out of the extra states, yeah.
You
for the
think
stars.
of there you go. You think of the way like I don't know, AstroTurf and like different like obviously MLB stadiums don't really have their dirt painted, but like grass and AstroTurf have their way. I'm thinking it's possible.
Well, why don't we have more AstroTurf? We used to have AstroTurf. We can still, now it's just painted green.
Why don't they paint the curbs to the American flag?
Well,
The only place I can think of AstroTurf top of my head is like the runoffs at the end of 130R.
Yeah, that's the only
at
place
Suzuka
I can think it's
and a couple other spots.
Yeah. Piastri's only moved up to 14th place, by the way. He's by no means safe because you've got and Perez only goes 15th. So all these top-end teams got Piastri 14th, Perez 15th, Leclerc is 17th as well. Zhou, unsurprisingly, is 20th. Now Leclerc goes up to 3rd, 116.970, that's fine. But we're looking at, folks, 20 times this year, Zhou Guanyu starts at the back of the grid.
Surprise, surprise.
That's 20.
Well, I think the bigger storyline is Sergio Perez risking Q1 elimination at his home race.
Well, he had turn 1 elimination in his home race last year when he decided to play chicken with Ferrari.
I'm most surprised that we're
This is
calling
true.
Pinto is right now.
Leclerc, hang on, Piastri's not going to make it through. Piastri, I don't think is going to make it round the lap, so he already might be eliminated from this qualifying session. We've got 45 seconds left, and he's only now coming into turn 7 and 8. I think he's done. Yeah.
Well, good news from Colapinto.
Well, he's in 15th, and he's coming to the pit lane, so Colapinto might face a Q1 elimination. Ocon's looking faster.
That would be his first.
Yeah, it would be Colapinto's first, and he's out! He's out! With 24 seconds to go, Bottas is out.
No, Colapinto got knocked out last time as well in Kota.
Oh, right, okay. So he did have a Q1. He started down the grid, didn't he?
Yeah, he started higher because of the penalties and the starting in pit lane and all that jazz.
Really quick, Ed just mentioned it. Bottas with a flyer. That puts Stroll now on the bubble, and Ocon might be the dagger here. He's just 100th up from from the bubble, excuse me, as he heads into the diamond area.
Perez is out!
This is going to be close. Piastri is in fact out.
Perez is out too! Perez is coming to the pit lane! He'll start his home Grand Prix, possibly at the back of the grid as Esteban Ocon crosses the line, and he stays 19th. No one's improved on the last lap, and Sergio Perez, on a weekend where he said, if I can make it here, it will change my season, and it'll give me the confidence. It is a Q1 elimination at home.
Teeth.
Yeah, you may well look a bit worried. You are sacked, my friend.
He trying to give me a
That's
heart
a bit
attack.
premature. He's had much worse performances and kept his seat, Josh. I feel like he's got a contract at least to the end of the season.
Yeah,
100%.
but he's gone after that.
Piastri.
So,
Oscar, we've been knocked out, I'm afraid. We've been knocked out.
Piastri was the only driver to make it through to qualifying 3 in every stage of this season. He's been Mr. Consistent. That's his first Q1 elimination of the season.
What happened?
Well, that was that. And Zhou Guanyu, for the 20th time this year, will start at the back of the grid.
It is a bit terrifying how much Colapinto looks like Senna.
Yeah.
So, Perez starting towards the sharp end last year. Obviously not a result we wanted. You got him next to Piastri for tomorrow.
Yeah.
What are we thinking potentially drive from the back? Sergio's no stranger to that. I know it's a different condition and it's a couple of years
on the
back
hard
now.
tyres, weren't they, Jackson?
Battle of the second drivers.
Everyone did that lap time, by the way, on softs, so that's a concern. Anyway, we'll hand back to Jess for this one as well. Let's give you the rundown of that first session, Megs.
Wait, you want me to do it?
Well, yes, I've got a tooth problem, as Jess will get her camera on. I need to do that, so you run us through.
Okay. Right, so topping the session is Lando Norris with a 116.505. Sainz is second with a 116.778. Third is Verstappen. Why is he always third in these things? with a 1:16.803. Then we have fourth for Clear, fifth is Magnussen, Gasly is sixth, Sonoda is seventh, Hulkenberg is eighth, ninth is Albon, Russell is in 10th, 11th is Hamilton, Alonso 12th, 13th is Lawson, 14th is Bottas, and Stroll is 15th. Out is Colapinto, Piastri, Perez, Ocon, and Zhou. See, Perez, even Lawson, who's only on his second week, can get through. You too, Zhou.
Down to you, Jess.
Thank you, Josh. And Ed, the biggest surprise, Oscar Piastri. And yet again, it's not the first time he's done this. Got the McLarens are in trouble. Norris had it last time. And again, it was due to track limits.
Yeah, it was a bit of an odd one, but I think even if he'd kept it within track limits, neither lap looked particularly quick. He was 13th and 14th at the time he set both the laps, and then as the track improved slightly, because it's not used for the vast majority of the year, the others improved, apart from, of course, Sergio Perez, who qualified right behind him, and he said he was just really struggling in the low speed stuff. So that really shows that maybe Perez went the wrong way on setup, and that this guy's much harder to drive than I think even he was expecting here, and it's certainly going to be a bit demoralizing for him. For Piastri, I think he'll probably be able to shrug it off and make progress in the race, though, because we've seen with Norris that car is particularly quick. Ferrari, really impressive in the first sector. Leclerc and Sainz looked very, very strong in Q1 there.
Ferrari cars in general are looking quite good. Both the Haas's Jacks are doing fantastic. Another strong Q1 performance from Anderson and Hulkenberg.
Second race in Toyota Gazoo Racing colors, give or take. I mean, just consistently really, really great performance. It's got to be thanks to that Ferrari straight line, as Ed pointed out with that first sector. But very, very excited to see what both of those guys can do here in what is for sure resume drives for one of them heading into Q2.
Yeah, Madison, I think, has impressed us the most in P5 as well. And we got the usual FIA stewards incidents at the moment. Q1 incident involving Cars 18 Stroll and Cars 14 Alonso will be investigated after the session. Guess what it is? Failure to follow race direction instructions, maximum delta time. And Ed, what do you think the result that will be?
I don't think Aston Martin will like it either way, but it's probably going to be a slap on the wrist and no further action.
No further action. I'll bet it'll be that as well. We could see Ed, Oscar Piastri make his way through the lap, heading in towards the end of the first sector, and he was on the medium tyres, and even then he was struggling a little bit to with the bumps as well. The bumps could be very tricky with the sausage curve as well. That's why sausage curves should be get rid of in Formula One. He just doesn't seem to like it with track limits. Ooh. And it's that bump. It's an absolute nightmare. I'm surprised he still has a car.
Yeah, look at that diffuser though. It took some real scratches. You can even see that impacted the curbs. Took some of the paint off. Literally, we're talking about painting the curbs different colours. Oscar Piastri, shame he doesn't have any Australian colour flag style paint to paint over them. But yeah, so it was a little bit scrappy with the lock up into turn 4 early in the session, and then of course that moment at turn 12. But maybe he would have gotten into Q2 if he hadn't had that moment at turn 12. But either way, the pace just wasn't there, and he's left himself with quite a bit of work to do come the race. But certainly Mexico City is a circuit you can overtake down that long straight. It's just a question of the strategy, whether Piastri and Perez can make it work to their advantage. But up the front, you're seeing these other teams are going to absolutely make hay while the sun shines. In particular, Ferrari, I think, Norris, Verstappen, I think it's going to be those four fighting for victory, much like we saw in Austin, and maybe George Russell can get involved as well.
Yes, indeed. And Jackson, who do you think will be the biggest surprise in Q2? Which team do you think that you won't expect to be knocked out will get knocked out?
Ooh, I mean, Mercedes already is looking right on that bubble here for Q2. I mean, Russell 10th, Hamilton 11th. I would not be surprised to see them at least kind of on the back end of the top 10 for sure. The Ferraris seem to have such an advantage powertrain-wise over the Merc units right now, but we'll see. I think really quickly before I throw it back to you, Jess, Yuki Tsunoda absolutely deserves his flowers right now in what's been such a huge family ordeal in the whole Red Bull Racing organization this year. He has done such a great job and has been fairly consistent here for Racing Bulls, especially on the back half of the season. About to go green.
Yeah, we're about to go green. Let's head it over back to Josh and Megan for the start of Q2.
Thank you, Jess. First driver out onto the circuit then is Alexander Albon, and we are all set then for 15 minutes and 15 drivers out here in qualifying as well.
Can I ask something quick? Why was it only the Aston Martins with the Delta time?
Yeah, usually it's a lot more, isn't it?
Yeah, usually there's about 14 of the drivers actually getting that, though now it's just the Aston Martins.
I don't think it was as fast at the end of that session as it usually
look
would
at
be.
There was a lot more in the sprint qualifying.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, but last week that Josh T read out.
Yeah, there was like, what, 18 drivers out of the 20?
14, I remember counting.
14, Megan counting, right, okay. Charles Leclerc then coming through. Okay, let's go around the room. We had sort of a surprise in Piastri and Perez being eliminated. So, Ed, I'll start with you. Who's going to get your surprise elimination from Q2?
Oh, tough to call. I certainly think it might be someone like Alonso,
Yeah.
or potentially Albon in the Williams as well. I think, as a Williams fan, sort of hoping Albon might be able to get to Q3, but I think this is a sort of circuit where they're the ones more likely to trip up. I would be very, very surprised if both of the Ferraris don't get to Q3 with the pace that they've got here, but we'll have to wait and see. It's all about getting a clean lap here, at least with 5 less cars. Everyone's got a better chance of not being held up in traffic, but anyone who's got any balance issues, or suddenly the tyres aren't behaving the way they were in the first part of qualifying, then suddenly you find you've got a bit of a job on your hands, and that's happened quite a lot with these cars this season and last season as well.
Jackson?
I mean, Ed, wishing any ill will on Fernando Alonso on start 400 is instantly bad karma, in my opinion. But I already kind of mentioned it with. I know. I mean, I'm thinking potentially one of the Mercedes. If Lando, it really is going to be like anybody who kind of gets into a Piastri kind of scenario here and maybe pushes it a little bit too hard, gets floor damage. That is genuinely all it takes here, especially when downforce is such a premium at the height of this track. So it's hard to say, but I'm going to say one of the Mercedes. Go Russell.
Good call, Megan.
I did the random pick and it just went to Gasly, so I'm guessing him.
There's an interview with Piastri.
That's not okay.
There's an interview with Piastri at the moment, but we're actually not allowed to take pen interviews.
Magnussen was close to it, so guess him too.
Yeah. Sky are actually breaking the rules here by doing picture-in-picture, because you're not actually supposed to do that during qualifying sessions. And that's why I know the rules of FOM, because I've read the guidelines. We're not allowed to take this interview during a session. We're allowed in between sessions and after sessions, but in the race it's different as well, because it counts as a throwdown. But pen interviews live during a session, no, not allowed. So that's a rule for qualifying. Verstappen has a fastest first and second sector as well. We've got our first lap time on the board of a 1:17.090. Let's check in with Omi then in the pit lane. We haven't heard from him since the start of qualifying one. Omi, what was your thoughts of Q1 and what are you expecting now coming into Q2? What are you going to be looking for?
Well, very interesting Q1. Disappointment though for Oscar Piastri to be out. But yeah, I think we're going to be getting a couple of shocks in this session, and I absolutely agree that we could be seeing a Mercedes being shown the door by the end of this session.
I want to quickly give 2 thoughts as well on Frecker at the moment. Great comments, by the way, as you've launched our new channel, JB Sports Extra, with our first show. Macau will be on there in 2 weeks' time, as well as simulcasting on the main channel. But how's
JB Extra?
Yeah, that's what I said. JB Sports Extra. That's what it's called now. That's the official.
Oh, is it? Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it wouldn't allow JB Extra. Someone's already nicked that, so it had to be JB Sports Extra. So yeah, Omi, what are you making of it all, and how was Frecker, and what's going to be the precipice for tomorrow?
Well, I think one of the best ever Frecker races there's been since the series started in 2019. It was wet. We had 3 wide down the start finish straight, very nearly 4 wide, 3 wide through the Cava Grande, 3 wide towards the Ascari chicane, all wild, and a 1-lap shootout as well. And cars absolutely everywhere, as a Frecker race usually is. It's kind of like Formula 3, but even more chaotic.
Do you want to know the reason why it was that chaotic
2 seconds,
and that
Jess.
amazing?
The tyres were a bit tricky. Sector 2.
What does that mean, Max?
It's low grip.
Yeah. So
He was flying over
Not
the curves.
surprising.
Yeah,
Got
on,
no
Jess.
grip.
Do you want to know why Frecker was good and chaotic today? Because Omi was in the box.
Yeah. First time Omi gets to take it, and Omi puts it mad as well. But yeah, everyone's twitching to the S's section, guys, and I don't know how it's going to stay with low grip and we're in qualifying. It's not going to get any more grippy than this.
It's got to be trimming out that rear wing, trying to maximize that top speed on the front straightaway, and obviously you've got some high-speed sectors there in that middle sector, and that's the ultimate sacrifice, so kind of learning to massage it. I'll tell you what, though, Verstappen got a good lick on that curbing on the inside there. I'm not sure if that's going to be floor damage, but it could potentially be. I'm not entirely sure.
Just thought, is this the first commentary we've had all season where all the lead well, JT's not here, but it's the most lead commentators we've got.
Yeah.
You lead every time I'm not here. Jackson leads with...
The amount of times I've led this weekend.
Yeah.
It's driven me to headaches.
I know. Jackson leads IndyCar. Ed leads Formula E. Jess leads
I
everything.
thought you led Formula E, Josh.
Yeah, but you...
I
was
don't
a-
lead
yeah.
everything.
When
I
I'm
lead
not
F1
here-
Academy and do the hosting.
Josh leads everything.
Yeah, but when I'm not here, I'm on about. And then Omi hosts the support of F2, F3 as well. Jess leads the F1 Academy. Ed hosts F1, Formula E if I'm not there. But admittedly, he's been busy, and he also hosts the esports series as well. So I think it's the first time we've had the most of all of us here.
Yeah.
And I'm lead commentator for One Hub.
Yep.
That's true. Ed's got EERC.
Well, I think
I'm
ERC officially closed. I don't know if you've been keeping that, Josh. It's
Wait,
only
what?
the sports. The ERC, the Endurance Championship, because they just didn't have. They had a lot of issues and not enough. Anyway, it's not really relevant to. I think the people listening to this won't care.
I didn't know that.
The British Touring Car Championship that we won, by the way, Josh.
I did know that, yeah.
That's still going.
Okay.
But yeah.
Damn.
The main endurance series, I think, did close down. But luckily, there are at least 3 or 4 others that have sort of taken their place. Like ES is going. VEC, I've got involved with that as well. All these series are on RFX to do as we see Leclerc loses his first lap time for breaking track limit at turn 2. So that's that first chicane then. So clearly he just went too wide over the sausage curve. Probably got a bit of air there as Norris really stretching his legs in that first sector. And now going through the middle sector, but it looks absolutely planted, that McLaren. And it looks like it'll be a one McLaren set up really, really well, which is such a shame for Piastri because he'll be looking very enviously at Norris right now.
2 tenths up here as he heads into the baseball diamond. Purple in all 2 sectors so far. Ed, going back to the sim racing stuff really quick, you comfortable with East Coast America times? I already know the answer now, but I'm calling for North American sim racing series now for Assetto Corsa.
Ah, cool. What's the time difference there?
Door remains open. It's 5 p.m. Pacific, so do your math there as we see Norris now get to the top of the charts. Russell in 3rd.
It's about 5.5 hours.
The clocks also go back tonight, so there's a
Oh, right.
equinox swing.
Yay, extra
5
hour
p.m.
in
was
bed.
it?
8 Eastern.
8 Eastern, not 5, as I was just trying. Okay.
I can never work it out.
Currently, Eastern is... Okay, that's the closest one, so 5 hours.
Right. Norris got on top then.
I think it's 4 hours tomorrow for a week.
Right. Norris
That would be 1 a.m. my time, I think.
Yeah.
So probably suboptimal.
Especially when I'm on holiday and my parents are going to shout at me if I'm keeping them up.
Not great, yeah.
Which wouldn't be ideal for the commentary either, as we see the reason Charles Leclerc lost that time. Yeah, he just got... When you're getting too close to the bollard, that's a bad sign. So clearly all 4 wheels left the track at some point there.
I think he did it twice. Look at exit of 2 and 3. He's definitely off at 2, but he's off at 3 as well, look. He takes the same bite. Yes, he is. Yeah.
Huh.
Thank you for choosing Air Charles.
He's had experience, of course. He launched Fernando Alonso over the top of him.
And he flew away thingy plane. What's it called? Jet. I don't know what it's called.
No idea.
The type
Glider?
of one. No, the type of one. He did something last week.
In Kota. Oh,
Yeah.
Flew a Rafale after Coda. Flew in a Rafale
there you go.
That.
after Circuit of the Americas with French Air Force.
Norris
What
was
about that?
1:16.301. He's top at the moment, but
Flying that, winning the race, and he had a great week last week.
Look, I'm just glad that Kota for somewhat remained politically clear. I mean, that was that's what I liked. Apart from the fact Danica Patrick was on the coverage. Apart from that fact, we're all good. And Danica's still on this weekend as well. But still, yeah. I think
I really need a Jamie Chadwick or a Haley Deegan win in the next couple of years, because Danica Patrick being the only female to win.
Think about reusing this set.
Sergio, you can
Really
hear
embarrassing right now.
Oh, right. Well, they've taken...
Think about reusing the set on Sure I'll Improve. It will be close. We think the jump to new tyres is quite a big George firm, but obviously everyone else has already done with new tyres, so they're going to take less of a jump.
Yeah, it was Ross's radios. We're going to hit there. Sky have gone to Sergio Perez again. They're going to get whipped by FOM. They're not allowed to do that. I read the article with their producer and I read the FOM guidelines as well. So yeah, but yeah, I agree with you, Jackson.
Well, they're called guidelines for a reason,
Yeah.
Josh, not rules.
And Sky,
That's what Sky like.
Sky can break it all they like as well. They know they've got the monopoly at the moment with Channel 4 not airing that much. So yeah.
What's the rules? Cover it now, ask for forgiveness later.
Yeah. To be fair, when I was on site at touring cars, me and JT managed to get Jay Killard won the championship, and he was next to his car.
Oh, I remember this.
So I was allowed 2 questions. His media manager said, "I said 2 questions because I've got to get off." So I kept him for like 2 minutes and asked him 3 questions.
Yeah, and immediately after you said the third one, he was like, sorry, and then just continued waiting for the answer.
Well, yeah, it's like I'm going to ask 3, aren't I? Always ask 1 more than you allowed, and then you can disappear.
And you were basically dying at that point too.
Yes, I was basically dying. I was being poisoned at that point, yeah, by the team.
Poisoned slowly.
Yeah, was not the best. I tell you what, I'm not looking forward to heading back to Brands.
Come to think of it, I should have got really concerned when you didn't answer that message when you were on the train.
I fell asleep on the train.
Yeah, that's probably why I should have got really concerned.
Surrounded by people, I had to get woken up by the young lady sitting next to me to say that this was where I was stopping.
Oh, that's nice.
Because it was the final stop after Nottingham. So, yeah.
I tell you what I found concerning just then was when Megan said poison slowly in the most fondest tone possible.
Poison slowly.
I mean, I couldn't see Megan right now, but you know, I imagine.
I've got a
sort of
smile on my
head,
face.
Like, oh,
It's
wasn't
a
it so
sibling
adorable
thing, Ed.
when you nearly died?
Sibling thing.
She never came to see me in hospital. She never came.
I had work to do, and I had to make sure Dad didn't die.
I was in hospital.
He was fine. But still.
To be fair, though, you did come with me to A&E.
Yeah, I spent 5 hours in that place with them playing the news for an hour and a half. The only good thing they had on TV was Have I Got News For You? And that was after the depressing news thing. Who puts the news on in a hospital? In A&E?
Yeah.
People like to know the world's still going while they're in there, you know.
I was literally dying. It was not great. I don't know if Jackson, if you've seen the size of the face, but it was quite funny. Imagine putting a baseball in your mouth.
Yeah.
I keep comparing him to a chipmunk.
Yeah. I
Or
like
a squirrel.
I personally that damn squirrel.
You had it in the grid chat as this could potentially be top of the charts, 3rd place for Charles Leclerc. No, I do not know how you muscled through that, dude. That is insane. And I think it was Ed that pointed out that is not where your teeth should be in the first place.
In the skull, yeah, not the best idea. No.
It was a bit of a faux pas from Josh.
Yeah.
During there, was it quali? Was it sprint quali?
It was sprint quali, I think. Yeah. When I was allowed back in. There's Rebecca Donaldson. Who is the
Back on the WAG cam.
They're showing, they're showing a lot of the partners here that shown up to Mexico, and not so much of the cars on track, which is probably why our commentary has descended into just focusing on Josh's near-death experience.
Oh, and by the way, I took much needed day off uni. The day of your operation.
Fair dues.
How is uni going, by the way, Megan?
It's going great. I mean, last year I managed to get through it all, and I got 3 firsts, which I'm very proud of. And now I've finished a research thing they've asked us to do for qualitative research. I actually found that quite enjoyable.
Oh, you're good at it.
Yeah. Basically, it was interviewing people, and well.
Oh well, what a surprise! You're good at that.
I have form with that. It's just the interviewees that were a little bit of a problem, though some of them were good.
I only made you practice since you were 4 years old.
Younger than that, I think.
Right, Magnussen on a good lap here, and having to go through all the traffic as well.
Yeah, we got a whole freight train back here, Ed.
Yeah, and Hulkenberg even faster as well, so Haas looking good to sneak into the top 10. But Albon, he's done in 7th.
Magnussen 8th, Hulkenberg next across the line. Is this going to be a really bad after yellow flag sector 3? And it's Yuki Tsunoda in turn 12 and red flag with 10 seconds to go as Tsunoda has thrown it sideways into the wall. I don't think the front suspension's off. No, he's drifted into that wall. But that's session over, and that kicks out Tsunoda, Lawson, Alonso, Stroll, and Bottas. So both V-Carbs. Yeah, both Alonso and Bottas out too.
Guess who also jinxed it?
Haas get through, as Ed pointed out and Jackson did too, that they were in the tow, and Tsunoda, he's drifted into the wall. He has not thrown it, he's drifted.
Yeah, Hulkenberg was very, very lucky because he crossed the line just before the red flag was called there as well. And obviously he was ahead of the yellow flag incident, but there is Alonso with his movie camera of his 400 Grand Prix as we get confirmation Q2 will not be resumed. And it seems I put the curse on Fernando. He did not get out of Q2. 13th on the grid, unlucky for some, and certainly for Fernando.
I just realised Lawson is still ahead of Fernando Alonso.
Oh yeah, that little battle's going to resume tomorrow, isn't it?
And Yuki Tsunoda beats all the other Q2 eliminations as well by crashing out and causing the red flag.
Oh yeah, that's another one. Oh, he's out the car. Sorry, he's so small.
The version of Leclerc in Monaco.
Go on, Jackson.
Years ago.
So some big wins here, obviously, for Haas. I mean, Alpine, we talked about this with Grid, Josh. The nightmare season that's just continued for Alpine right now. And obviously a top 10 could go south in the Grand Prix, but just showing that you've got top 10 pace with a little bit of a help from a big lazy slide from Yuki Tsunoda. I mean, that's for sure got to help morale right now in that Alpine booth.
Yeah, locks up the front.
Outside lock.
Go on, Ed.
Yeah, just like an outside lockup, and then from then on, he's trying to get it turned in with no traction, so the rear's just gone, and into the wall he goes. But yeah, like Jackson was saying, Haas are the big winners. Albon the big winner as well from that.
Huge winner.
He was in the pits, potentially very vulnerable.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Well, this is really...
Unfortunately, driver error by Yuki. And we're praising him earlier, but still occasionally those little incidents creep in. It's moments like this that make
it was just one bloke complimenting
falter, don't they? Yeah.
Well, this is a confusing situation for Sky right now because they actually can't go to an ad break because the red flags happened during the session. So they actually now have to show this entire recovery until we then get a start time for Q3, which annoys me.
Why is the guy showing up on a moped just behind them?
I'm more concerned about what we got. This little Ford Ranger back there. I think that's a VW Polo with like a trailer.
Yeah, look at that. Oh, right. Oh, well, okay.
Start will be delayed. Have you told them about how we were basically torturing you after your operation?
Yeah, right. Okay, well, this is a great little extra little story before we throw down to Jess and I can have a bit of a break. Basically, what happened was... I've one of the stitches now dissolved, so it's gone. But I've still got stitches in my face, as you all know. And on the day of the operation, I decided, I'll FaceTime everybody. So I went to the group chat and I FaceTimed everybody. And David and Megan are making me laugh massively. And I'm not allowed to laugh or smile. And yeah, so they were torturing me in pain.
We're your siblings. What else are we meant to do?
I had blood in my mouth still from the operation.
So
yeah, go on, Jason.
I unfortunately know that feeling of like we had a challenge in school where it was like do not laugh but also don't smile.
Yeah.
But like trying to laugh while not smiling only makes you laugh harder, and it's kind of this like self-feeding loop of just how dumb you look while laughing and smiling.
I've always wanted to try one of those do not to laugh challenges, but I think that's the problem. I don't find things like that funny. I don't giggle at things like that. I find them amusing, but it takes something really hilarious.
I can laugh inside my head.
Thing is that the only thing that makes me laugh is that the sarcastic jokes I make.
And unfortunately, we have similar humour.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, the worst is me and Mum.
Oh my god, you and Mum! Oh my god.
If say it's something with, like it's you or David. If
you two have the exact same humour.
I know. If I then make a comment or a sarcastic joke, Mum will just set off giggling, and that'll set me off giggling.
Sometimes when we're just watching something on the TV, it'll be you two on a settee just giggling in the corner.
No, properly, me and Mum have literally like you have those laughing out loud moments where you physically can't breathe in, you're giggling and laughing that much, and it hurts. That's exactly how we end up all the time. It's hilarious, and it's just like you're crying your eyes out because it's funny. And I don't know, it's just the weirdest stuff. Anyway, I'm going to shut up and give it to Jess so that she can take this red flag break. And I'm going to ask Megan to take us to the top 10.
Right. Top 10. Norris is first with a 1:16.301. Verstappen second with a 1:16.514. Sainz is third with a 1:16.515. Leclerc is fourth. Fifth is Russell. Hamilton is sixth. Albon is seventh. Hulkenberg is eighth. 19th is Magnussen. And 10th is Gasly.
Eliminated Tsunoda, Lawson, Alonso, Stroll and Bottas. And we'll hand over to Jess.
I just realised I really quickly had to turn my camera on during that when I should have done it during the results. But unfortunately, not huge shockers there as well. And I think we both jinxed it head on those cars making it out of Q2, unfortunately. But Lando Norris started the show, it seems, and the Ferraris and Red Bull not that far behind.
Yeah, a couple of mistakes from Leclerc early in that session, invalidating some times, but he still looked very quick, especially in that first sector, which is the one with all the straight lines, as Jackson was saying earlier. So, yeah, Norris, though, a long way ahead of Verstappen, which is certainly a good sign for McLaren. But, yeah, he needs to hook it up again for Q3 if he wants to get his, would it be his 5th pole in the last 6 races, wouldn't it be? If you don't count the sprint pole that Verstappen took, of course, in Circuit of the Americas. But yeah, certainly Norris needs to keep the momentum up and sort of get his own back, essentially, for Kota.
Yes, he does. Let's hear from Lawson. Well, let's not hear from Lawson because we didn't hear what he said.
All good. Jess, I'll tell you what, and I'll need to look back at the data for George Russell. I think he's in a really, really good spot. I'm not sure if he went out and tried another lap there on those used tires. But it might be some completely fresh Pirelli P0s here for this final.
It sounds like they were talking him into using a fresh set, Jackson, and because
I'm not sure if he went through with it. But if he stayed on the used, that would be massive here.
That would be. I'm just looking at multi-viewer to see the tyres he's used. I think he's only used. Or it might have taken a while for my multi-viewer to update. He hasn't used that many stuff, so yeah, he's going to be in a very good position. Both Mercedes 5th and 6th. The P3 pole belonging to Carlos Sainz, so I think Sainz is going to win tomorrow. And by the way, another stat, Jackson. George Russell outqualified Lewis Hamilton 14-5 this year, so we know that George Russell's going to win the qualifying battle. Let's just hope he doesn't bin it into a wall this time, like he did in FP2.
It looks in his favor, and it's again just riding that like limit of, pushing it over the limit, just a right amount, I guess, is the way I describe it. Ed, I feel like, is gonna have a better description of this for me if I throw it to him. But we've seen guys, go over in the form of Tsunoda and Piastri, and just how much that can pay, whether it's in the wall or just irreparable damage to the car,
or indeed getting a lap time cancelled too. But
exactly.
You do not want to have your lap time cancelled. Definitely not. Sergio Perez was interviewed during the qualifying session about his Q1 elimination, and I don't know what he was asked, but he said, "I just couldn't get on top of it. I couldn't stop the car soon enough. Too much energy through the tyres and brakes. It was very similar to the rest of the weekend. I could not stop the car, similar to Austin, so I cannot track corners under braking. Tomorrow it's important to try and maximise the day. The score points will be a tremendous effort." It's the brake problem for quite a lot of cars around Mexico, Ed. But Perez, he just doesn't seem to get a hold of the car, unlike Verstappen does.
Yeah, he's just Perez is very, very good when a circuit is rear traction limited. Like Baku is a very good example of that. But it's much more about that front end grip and turning. You can tell in the middle sector especially, that's where Max is quite strong. George Russell and Mercedes is quite strong there as well. Perez just could not get it hooked up, and I think we'll have to see with Piastri, but I suspect it's a similar story in that McLaren as well. But in the Red Bull's case, it's very, very extreme because we've seen so many different drivers that just cannot live with the rear instability, whereas Max Verstappen absolutely can.
Yeah,
I was actually going to mention that earlier, Ed. Piastri, just after pushing those limits, was bouncing off the limiter kind of after every single corner there, so was definitely getting it loose. And I'm not sure if that was intentional or
maybe just can't handle the stability, like Ed was saying. Q3 will start at 15:53 local time. So in our time, it's about 3 minutes, so we won't have long to wait until all 10 cars get in onto the track. Just a reminder on who's through to Q3. We've got Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, Lewis Hamilton, Albon, Nico Hülkenberg, Kevin Magnussen, and Pierre Gasly. And let's talk about Pierre Gasly for a second, because again he out-qualified Esteban Ocon. He seems to me that he doesn't need the, well, Indiana Jones livery to do well, and coincidentally, as I talk about Pierre Gasly, Sky decided to show Pierre Gasly. What a thought. What is it with his pace? Why is he just so good around this circuit compared to his teammate?
I think that's FOM direction, not Sky necessarily, Jess, but
FOM,
certainly your point still
yeah.
stands. And interesting, you mentioned the Indiana Jones livery they used last time. They seem to be using a Call of Duty Black Ops 6 livery now, so it seems safe. This whatever video game's coming out this week, it's going to be plastered all over the Alpine, I guess.
It is.
But yeah, for me, it was a decent attempt near the end from Ocon, but the final sector really went away from him there, and that was why he couldn't get out of Q1. Whereas Pierre Gasly just seems a little bit more at home in that car, and had a really good qualifying in COTA as well. Made it to Q3 there, got to 6th at the start as well, before dropping down with a slightly... he pitted early, and then the strategy sort of went away from him at COTA, essentially. And he just couldn't really make progress from outside the top 10. But yeah, Gasly definitely outperforming the car, and I think because he knows that he's got a place at that team for next season, that they've committed to him long term, that he just seems so much more confident and sort of able to really push the car into places it shouldn't be. And he's gone fairly well in Mexico in the past, but I think it's more just the reflection of his confidence at the current moment rather than any track-specific advantage. Whereas Ocon, I think he knows he's on his way to Haas and he wants to get out of that Alpine where he is not really flavour of the month, to put it mildly.
We've got a minute to go then until Q3. It's time to get our predictions on who we think is going to get pole, and we will throw to Omi as well, starting in the pits. Omi, who do you think is going to get pole position?
I'm going to go for Lando Norris.
Nice pick. What about you, Jackson? Oh, he's deafened. Ed?
I'm going to gamble and go for Charles Leclerc.
Charles Leclerc. I was going to think Sainz, but I strongly think it's going to be between Norris and Verstappen. I'm going to go with Norris. I'm going to agree with Omi on that one. I think Norris is going to get pole. We'll see if anything's going on in the chat as well, whilst we wait for the green light to go on. I don't think there's much going on in the chat, and I can hear myself. Adam Lemrich talking about LA Dodgers in the chat. Very interesting. But enough for me. I'm going to go back into the pits and hand over to Josh and Megan to kick off the start of Q3.
Thank you, Jess. Megan stepped out for bathroom break and get me a new drink. Very kind of her. And Jackson's just stepped out to fix an issue himself. So me and Ed.
Do you want me to put my camera on?
No, I've got Ed on as well. Then because then we can easily swap when Jackson comes back in. It's okay. So all green as they head out there. Max Verstappen first out. Let's open up the speed deltas to see what everyone's going. And Ed, I don't think we're going to need it this weekend where you're so slow in the pit lane you come into a crawl. They're still trying to get track position, but mainly we see that now in that last... Saying that, they've done exactly what I thought they were going to do. It's Max and Perez. It's Max stopping it now at the exit of the pit lane.
That's Norris behind him, not Perez. Perez
Yeah.
is long gone at this point, I'm afraid.
I thought on 11.
But anyway, yeah, I think that's as Max trying to give himself much space so he doesn't catch up with the Hasses too quickly, essentially, because he knows the Red Bull's got a distinct advantage on both of those cars. And when the Hasses slow down, we don't know exactly what the run plans are as well. Whether I think pretty much all the team's going to do 2 runs here. They've certainly got the time to do so, as we see a very young Red Bull fan being paraded around by her mother there. I assume they're Perez fans that are just looking for something to do, and they're going to pretend that Verstappen is actually their home hero, Sergio. Whatever helps you get through the day.
Yeah, have you guys seen that Japanese George Russell kid that cries when he sees Russell crash, like every time on TV?
He must be every event.
I gotta find that.
That's just Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Kimi Raikkonen kid from
Oh no,
Barcelona.
100%, 100%.
By the way, speaking of Raikkonens, Robin Raikkonen is becoming a very good go-kart racer. In fact, he's just won a championship. So keep an eye out for him to be in Formula One in, well, let's see, how old is he now? 8, 9? Well, about 10 years maybe.
Wasn't there news literally from earlier today that Robin was at like a international tournament or so? I forget where it was.
Yeah, it was something. I saw a
and
photo.
he started 22nd on the grid, got up to 5th by the end.
Yeah.
Against people who've been doing it for much longer than him as well. So yeah, all that private tutoring from his dad certainly paying off. He's also got a little sister, doesn't he?
He does.
I forget what her name is, but apparently she's also really into bikes and motocross and kart racing as well. So Rainier was in it, was it? Or I'm getting mixed up with Game of Thrones character. But anyway, something like that. But anyway, yeah, it's usually something beginning with R. It's a pretty safe bet with the Raikkonens. So yeah, Robin, Rainier, and Kimi.
Well, of course.
Fit that
Of course, Kimi's going to name his kids something beginning with R, because then you just go R. That was always his favourite thing. In all the interviews he did was R. It was always that's
Middle
it.
name Bois.
Yeah, then Bois.
Rihanna. It's not
Rihanna.
Rainier, it's Rihanna. Who I'm thinking of.
First sector for Verstappen, 27.285.
Will her younger sister be named Beyonce? You didn't have to laugh at that. I appreciate you choosing to.
Probably, I was saying it could be
Hulkenberg
Taylor.
first one on the charts here, 17.5. Magnussen 18.1. Norris should be next here. Excuse me, no, here comes Max. Oh yeah, smokes him by a second and change. Gonna be a 16.3 here.
Mega stuff here for Max Verstappen over the line. He is flying across it. It's 1.2 seconds faster than Hulkenberg. Norris in 4th position. Here he comes in out of the Peraltada. Got the tilt cam into a slightly backed corner still. There is an oval here at Mexico. Goes second, 16.9. Lander's been on pole 4 of the last 5 races. That other one was Max Verstappen taking a pole position as well. Alexander Albon through into Q3 as well, was 7th in the previous session. He's across the line, goes up 3rd, 117.3. Watch out, Carlos Sainz, 27.1, first sector. Sainz, who was top in practice doodles quick all weekend. We ride with Charles Leclerc now, down into turn 12. But Ferrari's looking strong here.
Gosh, I'm looking at this again. A lot of that is coming from straight line here on the data I'm getting, but he could send it really hard here on exit. We'll see.
Ed?
Yeah, good lap by Gasly to just get in front of Albon. Only by 7/100ths of a second though, as here comes Leclerc to the line. But Verstappen, Leclerc falls just a tenth short of Max Verstappen. But Verstappen learning lessons of Kota. Remember where he didn't set the banker time and got beaten by Norris, and then Russell destroyed it. But look at that, fabulous lap from Sainz. Really good final sector there.
Exited the Peraltada, went straight towards the pit wall, and Max Verstappen's lap time has been deleted by the stewards for track limits. How's that for irony? Ferrari 1-2, Mercedes 3-4, Russell ahead of Hamilton, Russell ahead of Hamilton once again in qualifying.
I think that's
Some
a very
brilliant
Alanis
stuff
Morissette
here.
definition of irony there, Josh. That's just a bad thing happening. Doesn't necessarily mean it's ironic.
Mercedes made it into Q3, and they're now putting their cards on the table here. Still very, very close here for Russell. Russell potentially able to bring the fight to Leclerc, but he's going to need to find almost half a second here to leapfrog Sainz.
Same thing as Leclerc. Ed. 2 corners over the limit.
Yeah, near identical there, and would have gained him only a tiny advantage, but he broke the track limits, he broke the rules. And there you go. That's a big no-no on a quali lap there. You just see
exactly
all 4
what we saw from
tyres
Leclerc.
break contact, and it was near identical, as you say. Even the Red Bull responding a bit better to the bumps, though. The Ferrari just sort of takes the turbulence and just carries on without getting up much speed. But the Red Bull looks a much smoother ride over those curves.
I'm honestly just impressed that these are cars that are able to run over the curbs like that, and drivers are able to kind of send it over those kind of bigger sausage curbs.
Yeah, their backs are quite strong, aren't they?
With not even from like a integrity standpoint, but just confidence that I can put the foot down after that and the car isn't going to be super upset. And again, these are drivers. They know the limits, but to be able to do that without spinning out instantly after.
Okay, car definitely feels different in qualifying compared to practice 3, says Hamilton out there.
I wonder if Norris has maybe experienced something similar, because you don't just go from what was it, 3 tenths ahead of Verstappen to suddenly 8 tenths or 7 tenths behind him.
Megan. You've seen
Sainz has dominance in every area, just bar one. And I'm pretty sure that is turns 6 to 9.
the S's, where it's Lando.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it was Norris that was quicker on the comparison they used, yeah.
So he's for sure trimmed that car out wing-wise, and he's got a lot of faith in that.
Okay, let's go around the room and begin to pick a pole. Ed, who's going to be on pole position?
Well, I've already asked.
Have you? Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. I wasn't in the box.
You did. When you probably weren't listening because your thing was echoing through the microphone.
Haven't
We
asked
could all
me.
hear ourselves much.
Oh, can you? Give me a second.
Well, you didn't. Well, Megan hasn't been asked. So,
Yeah.
Megan, who's your pick a pole?
Sainz.
Okay, Megan's chosen sides. Can you hear me, guys? No.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think Megan has a bit of an advantage with half the session done.
Wait, hang on. You can hear me.
Personally.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely
Sorry,
fine. Josh. I hope-
Discord's being a pain.
Me and Amy picked Norris. Jackson picked, I forgot. And
Oh, right, okay. Ooh. I'm going to stick with my guns and say Sainz, to be fair.
I'm going
I
to
was
stick with
gonna say
Leclerc.
Norris earlier. I'm not sure now after what we just heard.
Yeah, Max can still get this together, so we can't count
Oh,
him out either.
Let's
100%.
take a look
Yeah,
at the
let's go
speeds.
Max. I'm going Max.
So, Max goes out. Oh, wow, okay, they're all heading out there. That was supremely
Everybody.
timed. Yeah. That's only 10 Formula 1 cars. The pit lane looks really busy. As they venture down. Look how slow they're all going there in the pit lane. 5 kilometres an hour. Russell's going 0 and he's just stopped basically. They're all just waiting. This is why we open up the speed traps for you on the side monitor.
Where's Russell? I don't see him anywhere here.
Really what?
That must be why he's going 0.
Is he behind? Is he behind Norris? Maybe is that what?
Yeah.
You mean? It's showing him still in the pits, but obviously they haven't been able to get out because Gasly seems to have come to a stop now.
70 seconds. They're going to... Oh, hang on. They need to leave the pit lane now. They really need to leave the pit lane now. It's a slow out lap here. Ferrari have gone out. They're all so slow.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, if you're on your giddy up, you've got maybe 30 seconds.
Yeah. This is not great. It's a 1 minute 30 lap. 1 minute 16 lap. It's...
And it's Verstappen holding up Norris. Norris looked like he was trying to go round the outside of him in the pit lane.
know the rules. Max got in trouble with that in Netherlands. Got a warning from it and a fine. What is that lady holding in her hand? Oh, it's gloves. It looked really bizarre.
I was looking at a guy next to her that had like a half-eaten choc ice in his hand.
Oh, right.
I was looking at that guy too.
I'm not.
Both Russell and Hamilton coming out of the pits now, guys. It's going to be very, very tight, though, for them to make this.
And Magnussen's just started a lap time as well. So Magnussen's done a full lap time around. So, yeah, they're going to get caught up here. On board with Lando. He's coming down to 5 and 6. He's let Max go.
I think Mercedes were just looking for a gap, weren't they, in between the Haas cars? And it looks like, oh, Hamilton's come out very, very late here. He did say in Q2, didn't he? It's going to be quite tight. And ended up in Q3, it might be where he crosses the line just that little bit too late. Here comes the Ferraris to start their final laps.
Everyone's on.
Solid start for both Magnussen and Hülkenberg here really quick. Josh, both improving on Sector 1. Actually, bits of purple from Hülkenberg in Sector 1.
We've got no tyre data.
Why is it just a sea of red?
Yeah, we've got no tyre data for how many laps they're on. All they're telling us is that it's used tyres. So, yeah, that's...
So what we know is
It's
they're not
soft.
doing anything.
Yeah, it's soft, so I can tell you that much as well. I can't tell you anything else, because that part of the system has blown up here in the commentary box. Must have been during the red flag situation.
nothing to
Now
this.
4 seconds on a lap. Sector 3 will be clear here. So the two Mercedes are really sort of worried. And if they get caught up by the red flag here, this is going to majorly interrupt Verstappen's lap time as Magnussen goes 5th, 1:16.886. And look at Sainz, fastest in the first sector. Leclerc's on the 2. Eyes, though, on Max Verstappen. See what he can do.
Improves. He's about 200ths off there on that first sector, but he still for sure has the straight line.
Here's Leclerc. Albon goes 7th, so he's out-qualified Gasly, Hülkenberg and Verstappen at the moment. Leclerc's up by 24 thousandths. Sainz's second sector's coming through as well as he comes down into the Forest Hole, and he's up by 0.2 of a second. Sainz is really going strong here. Gasly's in 6th place. Checkered flag is coming out. So Gasly, we know he's done. Is Leclerc going to steal away pole position here in Autodromo? No, he's 0.2 down. So it's a 1:16.265. Can Carlos Sainz continue the weekend that he started strongly yesterday? Yes, he can. 1:15.946, an outstanding time.
Look at Verstappen.
Look at Verstappen, though. He's going
He's
quick.
less time, though.
15. He's not going to do it.
What's Norris got?
Yeah, Lando's got a fastest second sector. Over the line.
Verstappen goes second.
So he split the two
Third for Lando
Ferraris.
Norris. Here it comes.
Lando Norris, 4 out of the last 5. Is it going to be 5 out of the last 6? Yeah! No, he's third. Doesn't do it. I was like, yes, he's done it. No, he hasn't. He lost 0.3 in the last sector compared to Sainz. Damn.
What happened to him there?
I was shaping up for a nice race tomorrow, but Mercedes have fluffed it. They've gone out without a toe. They've effectively gone out as the ugly duckling.
Gap from Verstappen to Norris, 0.089 seconds.
Whew. Wow.
It was really that final sector they were all struggling in, wasn't it? Especially the Ferraris running out of tyres at that point, but they'd done just enough to hold on. You saw Leclerc going through the final corner at the Nigel Mansell Peraltada. He was just about keeping the rear tyres in check there, but that was knife edge stuff there. Fantastic.
6th pole of his Formula 1 career, 1st pole of the season for Carlos Sainz. Let's hear from him now.
Yes, Paul. One lap. Two lap. Smooth out there.
Yeah.
But quick enough to be on pole twice. He joins Verstappen, Russell, Leclerc and Norris as pole sitters this year. Woohoo! And he's already made a mistake. He's gone to park further up the grid. Oh no, we are right.
Oh.
They've
Carlos,
changed
it's James. You want to just jump over to Wantage right now?
Yeah, get to Williams. See what
I thought they were in Grove. They moved out of Wantage some time ago, Jackson.
They're not in. Oh, whoops. I thought they were like in Oxfordshire area.
Well, it used to be.
It's the same area, but yeah, it's
Okay. Whoops.
Oh, do you know this?
At least you didn't say Didcot, because that would have been 80s Williams. Which would
Okay,
be
good.
More out of date. Yeah.
Goes with them all. Yeah, there's 6 poles for Carlos Sainz in his Formula 1 career, as I said. Gets that now. Can he continue with a victory to make it MM? Literally, if you think of Lando Norris, victory in Miami and then victory in Marina Bay. Charles Leclerc, victory at Monaco and Monza. And then it was Carlos Sainz's victory in Melbourne. Can he take victory in Mexico? The curse of the M.
They seem to
Max
like
Verstappen.
doing it in twos.
Yeah, don't they?
Didn't know that.
Yeah, interesting enough. Right. On that notice, I won't tread on Jess's toes. So I'll ask for a highlight for tomorrow as to who's going to go well. What do you think is going to happen to turn 1, Ed?
Probably more Verstappen Norris action. And Carlos Sainz is going to scamper away with it and hope that Leclerc can join him and do another Ferrari 1-2.
Jackson?
Oh, man. Sorry, we're watching one of the Haas's do like a 50-50 grind there. That's a Nico, yeah.
Ooh, over the curb and far away.
That was almost what happened to Piastri as well. He
Yep.
just been a little bit.
Ed, I'll tell you what, that thing could have gone all the way around and kind of hit that outside wall there on exit if he didn't keep it together, as Leclerc does a little bit of wrestling here going through the S's.
Yeah, Leclerc's twitched as well. Okay, I'll ask Megan now. Who's going to win the race tomorrow, Megan?
Still only them Sainz. And still only Aston Martin with a delta time.
Okay, well, me and Megan are going to disappear as soon as we hear from the drivers' top 3. Jackson, Omi and Ed will stay to talk with Jess in the post-show. Oh, Hamilton was putting a wall actually as well. Coming in through the Forest Hole. I apologise if I've gone a bit monotone, but it's starting to really hurt. Like, it feels bruised.
When was the last time you took your tablets?
About 4 hours ago.
Take them.
Really quick watching Hamilton there with a really big slide there on the exit of the baseball area, and that Toto just hangs his head. He knows that could have been something there.
Oh, I was just looking at Kimi Antonelli standing next to Wolf there, and the wide eyes thinking, oh, I got to drive that car next season.
Yep.
Let's hear from the top three with James.
We're joined here by Lando Norris, who's going to line up third on the grid tomorrow. Lando, first, talk us through your run a little bit. You've had an incredible amount of pace so far through the weekend, but did you leave a little bit on the table? Did you get everything you needed out of it in Q3?
It's always tough to say, but I'm pretty happy with third, honestly. I feel like I got to the limit of the car quite quickly, which made us look good, but I struggled to get a lot more out of it in the final 2 laps. So Carlos and Max did good laps. They've been, especially Carlos, has been very quick all weekend. So yeah, I'm happy with it.
With the race pace that you guys have shown lately, and especially the fact that historically starting third here isn't a terrible thing, does that give you a lot of confidence for tomorrow?
It's tough to say. You know, none of us have done proper long runs on the tires that we're going to be on tomorrow. So there's question marks for all of us. But Ferrari have been very good in quali and long run pace over the last couple of races. So it's going to be tough, but we're in a good position. So looking forward to it.
Car's been good over 1 lap and good on a race run, starting third tomorrow. Lando Norris.
Thank you.
Yeah, good result for Lando. Let's hear now from Max Verstappen. Another front row start for him in his Formula 1 career. Red Bull take front row number 194 of their career as well.
Another front row start for Max Verstappen. He's won the last 3 Grand Prix here at Mexico City. You're going to do it from the outside of the front row tomorrow. But let's talk about Q3. That first run getting deleted. How much pressure does that put on you to get that second one absolutely perfect with no mistakes?
Yeah, quite a lot. I mean, naturally, yesterday I barely didn't do any, laps. So it was, we're playing a lot of catch-up. FP3 was not very good. So I was already, I think, under a lot of pressure to have a good qualifying. And then, of course, my lap time got taken away. So added a little bit more pressure. But, yeah, very happy to be on the front row. I honestly didn't expect that to be possible.
Max, qualifying in Formula 1 right now is so tricky at any track, but when you come to a place where the downforce levels are so low, the track's surface grip is so low, you're seemingly being robbed of grip anywhere you can be. How difficult is it for drivers to just really extract the maximum in qualifying?
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the hardest tracks to get right. I mean, street circuits are difficult, and this one as well, because, as you said, low downforce, it's very easy to have a lock-up or a slide, and then the tires overheat immediately, so it's one of the tricky ones on the calendar.
All right, well, from PT, we'll try to go for 4 in a row tomorrow. Congratulations.
Ferrari take their front row start, number 560 in Formula 1. Carlos Sainz on pole for the 6th time as well, and it's his first pole of the season. He's down with James.
Carlos Sainz, 6th career pole position here in Mexico City for Ferrari. What a run you guys have been on, but first, let's just talk us through that lap.
Yeah, very happy, and yeah, great couple of laps. You know, a lot of times around Mexico, you always have the feeling like you cannot put a lap together, and it's extremely difficult with how much sliding there is. But today, honestly, my 2 laps of Q3 were pretty much identical, almost perfect, and yeah, I just put 2 really solid laps in Q3, enough for pole, and yeah, very happy because that's not normally the case around Mexico with how tricky it is.
It really seems like the last couple of weeks you've just been so comfortable in your Ferrari from the very first lap of first practice. Is that how it feels from inside the car? Because the performances have been incredible.
Yes, definitely. Since Austin, we've done, seems like, especially on my side, a step up also in qualifying, trying to find something extra with the outlap and the tire preparation. And yeah, it seems like we are going in the right direction. Obviously, looking forward to finish the job tomorrow, but at least the pole position of today, I'll take it because it shows progress and some really solid laps.
Now, how important is tomorrow for you guys as a team? Ferrari, the only one in the constructors battle with both cars starting inside the top 10. How important is collecting a massive haul of points tomorrow?
For sure, it's our #1 priority. No, first of all, to bring both cars home, but especially if you win the race, those extra 7, 8 points that you get when you win is important for the team in the constructors. So yeah, I'll be just looking forward to keep that P1 into turn 1, and from there, hopefully our race pace should be good enough to win it.
Well, Carlos, every time you've come to Mexico, you've qualified better than the year before. Last year you were 2nd. You kept the script going by being pole for the race tomorrow. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Good start.
Wonderful. Oh, sorry, Jess. Wonderful session then as well here in Mexico. It's Ferrari, Red Bull, McLaren, 1, 2, 3. We're in for a great 71 laps tomorrow. Down to you, Jess.
Yeah, we are. Carlos Sainz absolutely showing that he has the pace in long runs and in one lap pace too. Let's go through the qualifying results for today. Jackson had to go. He will join us tomorrow. So thank you, Jackson, for joining us in the commentary box. He had things to do. So he just got me and Ed doing the post show. But let's go through the results first. Carlos Sainz tops the session. He gets the Pirelli tyre for getting the Pirelli pole position. Max Verstappen in second. Lando Norris third. Charles Leclerc fourth. George Russell out-qualifying his teammate once again. Fifth place. Lewis Hamilton sixth. Kevin Magnussen, another strong qualifying for Haas, is in seventh. Pierre Gasly out-qualified Albon in eighth. Albon in ninth and Hulkenberg in 10th. Then we got Tsunoda in 11th, Lawson 12th, Alonso 13th, Stroll 14th, Valtteri Bottas 15th, Pinto 16th, Oscar Piastri 17th, Sergio Perez in 18th, Ocon in 19th, and Zhou Guanyu in 20th position. So that is your order then for qualifying. What's going to happen in the race tomorrow remains to be seen because, again, the practice sessions were unpredictable. Let's get our final thoughts from all of our teams, starting with Omi. What have been your thoughts of the session and who's going to be your biggest surprise coming into tomorrow?
Well, it's going to be a wide open race, and a run down towards turn one, we could see Norris try challenge, we could see Leclerc try challenge in towards the first corner. Verstappen's always going to be very aggressive down there. Turn one is going to be fireworks. Cannot wait for that. And then after that, they have shortened, of course, the DRS zone by 75 meters, meaning that probably we're going to get some late aggressive sends, hopefully as well, even though overtaking has been slightly limited over the last few years around this circuit. Hopefully a very good race, and I think definitely keep an eye on the Ferraris with their tyre wear, as they seem pretty quick with race pace, so I think they'll be ones to watch.
Nice thoughts on that, Omi. Ed, what are your final thoughts?
Usually here, whoever gets into the first corner first tends to win with only a couple of exceptions. Like I think back to, I think it was 2019 where Lewis Hamilton did a very different strategy, ran really, really long in the race and was able to basically do one stop less than everyone else. I'd be surprised if any team tries that, but I think Ferrari, as predicted, have sort of got the pace to really potentially run away with this one in the form of Carlos Sainz. But it'd be interesting if Leclerc can have a great battle with, be part of that Verstappen and Norris battle, essentially. But yeah, a bit of pressure on Norris to get the job done this time. And Verstappen is certainly going to be trying to make sure he's first in the tow of Sainz on the rein to turn one. So that'll probably be the climax will be right at the beginning. And then the rest of the race will be about, I think, those lower battles predominantly as everyone fights for those points and tries maybe one or two different strategies to maybe go for the fastest lap near the end. But yeah, I think it should be interesting, certainly strategically, to see who's got the time management, because that can play in your advantage here.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Amy, in the pits. And, of course, thank you to Jackson, who was here with us earlier. And, of course, thanks to Josh and Megan. The race starts tomorrow night at 8 p.m. UK time. Our clock's going back in the UK, so it will be, obviously, an hour earlier in Mexico too. You can join us for the build-up at 7 p.m. UK time, where we review what happened in qualifying and the build-up going into the race. But who's going to do well in Mexico City? But today is Carlos Sainz's day. The next lot of action on JB Motorsports very early tomorrow morning is MotoGP, Moto2 and Moto3 as well. So join us then. But until now, I've been Jess Ball. Safe travels, everyone. Take care and goodbye.